Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. This is video 2 out of 2 of new releases on the 25th of June. So this movie just came out today, and I honestly didn't realize it was going on Netflix. So it is on Netflix for free if you guys have Netflix. I honestly thought this was more of a, private release on demand, but no, it is not. It is a Netflix movie, so if you guys are interested in watching this, it is available on Netflix. But without further ado, let's talk about The Ice Road. The Ice Road was released in 2021 and was written and directed by Jonathan Hensley. This movie is a mess, okay? And I mean this in, every way possible. Because when I go through watching movies, right, when I plan out these movies, first of all, no spoilers, of course, I'm looking for what I want to watch, right? Because there's so many movies that come out every single day. I try to get as many as possible, and I try to mix it up a little bit. So I'm not watching, 2 horror movies, or, 2 action movies, or 2 comedy movies in a row. If I can help it, of course. There are big releases like Black Widow or, Space Jam 2 that are, I'm going to have to watch those, of course. But with this one, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, cool, it's a survival thriller, but it's very much just a blanket survival one, but it's one that we haven't seen really yet, where these truckers go on the ice road and they try to survive on the ice road. I was wrong. Well, I guess I can't say I was wrong. They gave the false impression, okay? Because this trailer didn't really show that there was a bad guy, but there is a bad guy. And that's the main reason why I'm going to talk about one of the actors, because there's a twist in the middle of it. There's a bad person in the vehicle. Somebody is trying to screw with them. And that bothers me, okay? And I want to get started on that line of thought first. Why does every movie have to have a villain? Why does there have to be a person that is trying to do harm to somebody in every single movie? Okay, it doesn't work every time. And this is a movie that I thought would be really cool if we just watched these truckers go across the ice road, right? How interesting is that? They're just literally going across the ice road. They're trying to survive. What are the techniques we can learn from watching a movie too? All these really cool things that I thought we were going to get to, but we didn't. And I was really, really upset. I can't really talk a whole lot about it, but there is just somebody, essentially the idea is somebody in this mine, the head of the mine was like, hey, if you guys turn off your methane dials, we will give you $100 at the end of the month, because they didn't want to let the methane be an issue. So I turned off their dials, but the issue is that the methane got really big and really bad without them knowing, because they turned off the dials, and then it exploded. So it's on the company, it's the company's fault. But now there are miners trapped in the mine, and there's nothing to do except for shipping a giant drill, basically, across the ice road. And no one wants to do the ice road because it's in April, so it's warming up, and the ice is very thin, and it's crazy. So we have Liam Neeson, who plays Mike, who is basically a trucker, and he's just a random trucker, and his brother, who is mentally ill, and then there's a girl who's also a trucker, but also kind of a delinquent, and then there's an insurance agent, and then there is the big trucker, the guy in charge. And all of them go across the ice road trying to survive the ice road. But one of them is bad, and one of them works for a place that is trying to get money from them, basically. Sort of secretly. And so it's important that we know that one of them is bad. I can't tell you who because it's spoilers, although you find out pretty quickly. But it is really annoying because this movie could have been really interesting. It could be really cool with just watching a movie about these people trying to survive out in the middle of nowhere with just 3 trucks on ice. How cool is that? But no, it has to be like a spy thriller where this guy's like, oh, haha, I'm trying to get money and I don't want the mining company to be liable for anything. And it's just ugh. It's frustrating because everybody's if I pitch this movie, I'd be like, okay, this is what I want, and they'd be like, okay, cool, but what if there was a bad guy? And that's just every movie nowadays. And I get it, it does sell tickets a lot, but come on, it's frustrating. The CGI in this movie is very hit or miss. Some of them are really good, some of them are really, really bad. There are some moments the beginning of the film, which is really, really, really bad. It just looks awful. Anytime there's CGI ice, which there's quite a bit of, it looks fake as heck. I mean, it looks really, really bad. Most of the other special effects are pretty good. I mean, there's some times where I think a lot of it is practical. I do think that a lot of the trucks driving and stuff like that is practical. I'm very happy with that. But then there are some times where they're not practical and they're real things, but they're just moving them. There's this one part in particular, and it's only on screen for a second. But this truck is moving, and they just slide the whole frame, the whole picture down, and it looks so bad. And I think a lot of it looks really bad, and that is a huge hindrance on my grading here because it looks really bad. The performances, for the most part, were not great, and I do want to talk about one in particular, which is Liam Neeson as Mike, whom I think was miscasted here. I think that he was put in a position where he had to play a character that he is so familiar with that it just kind of feels like he's just running through the motions. And he didn't have to be a character that's super, cool and actiony, but they made him that way because it's Liam Neeson. And I feel like it would have been better if he was more of a soft kind of guy, more of a quiet kind of guy, focused on doing his own thing. And you'll understand it when you watch the movie that it just kind of feels like it should be that way, but it's just not. And that brings me to the characters in general. And the characters are kind of meh, right? I mean, a lot of them are very much... They try to give him an arc, which I appreciate the effort. They're like, okay, this guy could just be a blanket guy. Or, let's see, what we could do. Oh, yes, he has a brother who has, a mental illness, and maybe he's frustrated with him, and maybe he's trying to get over that. And, maybe we have this delinquent girl who, we're not sure if she's delinquent or not. We have an insurance agent who's, really happy and kind of cheery. And then we have the other guy who just kind of is just there, which... Don't even get me started on that. And in most of my reviews, you'll see me be like, hey, I wish that we had more of an arc here. This is one that I wish we had a little bit less of an arc for most of these characters, right? We don't need everybody to have such a huge backstory for this movie, right? And when they do, it just feels kind of weak. And that's why when there are deaths or when there are unfortunate issues, it's hard to feel sad for them. There's a lot of sad parts that I think that some audience members are going to be, crying over. But for me, I was more like, okay, can we move on? I don't really care about these characters at all. Which is the main issue with this movie, I think, is that it doesn't give us any reason to care about most of these characters. They're good reasons, they just don't show them enough, right? They're like, okay, well, this person's trying to save this person's brother, and that's great. But also, to a certain extent, I don't really know if I even like this person, so why would I care about this person's brother? And it really just doesn't sink in as well as I think it could have. And it doesn't sell on the emotions that I think it should. Overall, it's not a bad movie. I think some people are really going to like it. I know my dad's a truck driver. He might love this movie. But, other people like me are just really going to not like it and sit through it and kind of bear through it. It's not the best made movie, and I think I wasted a good 2 hours of my life here watching a movie that I'm honestly just going to forget just like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and give The Ice Road a C+. This is available on Netflix. If you are a subscriber to Netflix, you can watch that for free. And check out my other video that came out today called False Positive. That is about the movie False Positive, which also came out today, and it's on Hulu if you want to check that one out. But that's going to do it for me today. If you guys want to consider subscribing, it's a huge help. Once I hit 150 subscribers, I'm going to dress up like Spider-Man and go to Walmart. I know you guys want to see that, so if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share with your friends. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.